Good afternoon.
Good
I'm getting fat,
afternoon.
y'all. I got a special guest for you all, Miss Chatonda,
Chatonda.
who is a very special person and a very dear friend of mine. Now, this is my Miss Chatonda was supposed to be on the show that just finished, and guess what? She was running late, so guess what? Look at this. The benefit of Ziff. I have her. And guess what? This entire show is going to be dedicated to her, her music, and her education, objections, goals, and accomplishments. But before we do anything, those of you who have been with us, and we're going to do a proper introduction to Mrs. Chatonda, but those of you who have been with us all of these years, you know before the show start off, and this is a special one today. I always recognize, Miss Chatonda, the people who have died and lost their lives to violence here in the city this week, today, to violence. And so we want to take a moment and memorialize them with a moment of silence, and we want to recognize Mabel Moore, staple singer. She died.
Yeah, I heard
And
of
Iola died. So we want to take a moment of silence and recognize those who have gone on. We thank you. Miss Chatonda.
Hello?
Wow, I have
Long
not
time.
talked to you in about a year, but I've been watching you on Facebook. Now, when I left Daniel Hale Williams, and when you start talking, you can just tell them whatever you want about, introduce yourself or whatever, but I want to bring them back up to par so I can find out what you have been doing. You were having some trouble with the Chicago Teachers Union.
Yeah.
Then you left Williams Elementary School and take us to where you are now with your life. Give a proper
Well,
introduction. Tell them who you
Okay.
are for me.
I'm a career educator. I did meet Ziff after graduating from Teachers for Chicago, which is kind of like a precursor program to Teach for America. In fact, we had Teachers for Chicago where they recruited people to become educators that lived in Chicago. And when I applied for the job, they had 2,000 applicants, and they chose 100 people. And they were from all over the country, so I was really blessed to get in that program. I finished that program because I already had a degree in something else, and from Roosevelt University, and then I went to work at Daniel Hale Williams a few years later. Was a music teacher, Ziff, for a little while until they started cutting all the music programs.
Wow.
So I went to work at Daniel Hale Williams, and from that point, that's where I met Ziff.
Yes, it was. Now, when you left Daniel Hale Williams, where did your life go to then?
A series of school closings, because everywhere we went, our school closed. So
Wow.
it was like we were fugitive teachers on the run, trying to find positions. Everywhere we would go, they would come and close our school. I ended up after Williams, I was in the meeting with Renaissance 2010, so I knew that they were going to close a lot of schools all up and down the State Street corridor. So I went far east and at South Chicago, and I was there. And then I left and became a lead math science coach. And I've just, and then after that, he's right, I did work for Chicago Teachers Union for a very short time. I organized Karen Lewis's South Side campaign before anybody knew who she was, and before anybody felt she had a chance to win. And you did ask me about Brandon. Well, I organized their campaign, and a lot of the core caucus people that were out on the streets volunteering free, they didn't get much out the deal when Karen won and when the core caucus won. They basically hired a lot of people that hadn't done the work. People that really sacrificed a lot were kind of like thrown under the bus, if I can put it nicely. And so when I left the union, though, it's an interesting thing. Because I did the community organizing for the union, I had an opportunity to meet Philip Jackson, Reverend Jesse Jackson, which I knew Reverend Jackson from before because I was the person that linked him up with Cora and Karen and started them to come to Push. So I did know him, but Philip Jackson and Henry English, who just recently passed away from the Black United Fund, I was out there organizing with these great men. And Mr. English had an education initiative, so he said, come work for me. I wrote grants for him. We received a grant called Teach for South Shore. And then Governor Quinn gave us the money, and then Governor Rauner took the money.
And how much did Bruce Rauner take from you guys?
I don't know the exact figure because I don't do, but it was quite a bit, over 500,000, probably a little less than $1 million.
Is that money still floating out there?
Who knows? I wish we could get it back because what we do is teacher induction. Since I did come out of a basic teacher induction program where I was a young black teacher, and I thought this would be a great way through our program to recruit, train, and bring back our black teaching force. We lost 6,000 black teachers under Karen Lewis, 4,500.
Hold it. Ain't that the woman you put in? Ain't that the woman that you helped get elected?
Yes.
And we lost 6,000 people?
Well, when I came...
Lost their jobs?
When I came to work, everybody was very excited. Karen was new and fresh, and she made a lot of promises. They saw me. I was already organizing. I was organizing at Push, displaced teachers, because we had gone to Reverend Jackson and told our story. He told us to come to Push, organize, and bring your people here. And my people at that point was Karen and Cora and the whole group. So I did organize, and I did bring them to Operation Push under Reverend Jackson's umbrella. And then we ended up, they won, and then things seemed to change. There's politics now. So once they got in office, it was really 101 for me, probably 200 and 300 too. But
y'all, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Miss
Chatonda,
she is being very kind to those people. I'm gonna let her finish, and we finna rock and roll, cause she is being very nice to these people today. They did a job on this lady.
Or tried to.
So
well, I would say
when you were battling them over at Push, because I came to a couple of the meetings.
Right.
You were battling them for a purpose and a reason. Did that purpose and that reason resolve to your
of course not. Because what happened was I got into the game because I had been doing the research on black teachers since William closed in 2001. And I knew when Williams closed, I looked at the teachers in the building, and the day it happened, and said they're going to use test scores to literally destroy our education community. And I knew that there was something wrong because you were at Williams. You saw we had a dynamic school. There was absolutely nothing wrong with the school. The school was clean. It was wonderful. One of the best schools I've ever worked at. And we had a dynamic principal, Mr. Roy White. And I just knew if they could close this school down with the teachers and the staff that were there was something wrong with this picture. And that. So I had been out there trying to get teachers informed, especially black teachers, and then that's when I ran into CORE. And they were the only ones speaking up about this issue. I heard them on TV, and I was thinking, wow.
What does CORE stand for?
Caucus of Rank and File Educators.
Caucus?
Caucus.
Of Rank and Files Educators. Let me just go back for a second. Don't lose your thoughts. Miss Chatonda, when she and I was at Daniel L. Williams Elementary School. Some of those old elementary schools had TV studios.
Yeah.
So with her students and myself, we dust all that old equipment off and we got it going. We ended up winning 2 awards in the CPS film videos.
Right.
And Miss Chatonda, her students, and myself, we got a $10 million grant, technology grant for Williams Elementary. So if you go over in that building now, you'll see TV monitors and updated technology in that whole building. And it was because of who? Ms. Chatonda.
Well, one of the
Efforts.
things is, I just love to have outside people come in and in our school, and I really welcome Ziff to work with our kids, and he taught them things that we couldn't teach in the classroom, and it was wonderful. I had written a grant myself for music, and I had gotten awarded thousands of dollars in new musical equipment. Do you
Wow.
remember when I
Yes, I
had
do.
my students with the violins?
It was
Oh,
so
that
funny.
was so.
She's a remarkable lady, y'all.
Yeah, we would dress them up, and I would go home on the weekend and get fine white dresses and bows, and we would come, and our students would play the violins and the instruments, and it was just really breathtaking, some of the things. And then we had the studio. So,
That's true.
and it's funny because as I was saying before, a lot of these people that I've known like for years and years, when I was teaching, I always had an open door for people in the community that wanted to work with our kids.
Yes.
And now I'm working with our kids in a school. There's an open door for me
Wonderful.
to, I do Upward Bound.
Now
And
explain what is Upward Bound for those who
it's
may
a
not know.
college prep program, and we get kids ready in high school. We take them on college tours. We do events with them on Saturday. They stay at a college campus in the summer.
Wonderful.
We're doing an entrepreneurs component because that's my thing. I try to make all my students have a business.
Well, let me do something. Let me invite them at home. Those of you who are at home who want to talk to Ms. Chatonda about education and educators, you can call us right now at 312-738-1060. Now, another thing I want to do, Ms. Chatonda, I want to just spend a couple of minutes because you're an educator and you know people who are interested in education. And if you could just briefly say a few words about this person and whatever, and you don't have to necessarily be negative. I don't believe in tearing people
Well, I'll
down.
be truthful.
Janet Jackson, the young lady that's running the school. Now, give me a short opinion on her.
Well, Janet came out of our community, which is South Shore. She
Okay,
was a
hold it 1 second.
teacher.
Let me stop her. I don't want you to do that. I want you to go to the point. She's good, or something like that, because I got about 10
Well, I
minutes
think
for you.
she's great.
Okay,
I
good.
mean,
That's
so
what I
far.
need from you. Okay, Ron Emanuel, education.
I'm not feeling Mr. Rahm Emanuel.
Okay, Paul Vallis.
I'm not feeling Mr. Paul Vallis.
Willie Wilson. Will he help education?
I think he will.
Willie Wilson will. Bruce Ronner.
Oh, no.
Forrest Claypool.
I don't think so.
Now, these are people that has been running our school systems, okay, y'all? Why does, and let me tell you all something. You all watch Goofy Ziff and all of this stuff I be doing. You know what made my life? Let me tell y'all what made my life. Whatever this life is that I have, I was so bad in school. I wanted attention so bad in school when I was in school. You all do not have any idea how precious. And this is my only beef I have with Ron Emanuel. I don't have no beef with him. No other beef than he is destroying these teachers who literally walked us through this life as kids. Now, I don't know how the teachers are now, but I know when I came up, Mr. Chatonda, I'm going to let you get right back in there, but I got to say this here. There was a teacher named Mrs. Rose Marie Gully. Her daughter was the TV anchor for Channel 7. Her name was Marie Gully. She was my teacher. And her daughter was Rosemary Gully, the TV anchor. I was so dirty, so bummy, like holes in both shoes. My teacher took me to the store and bought me clothes. And that impacted my life. I don't need nobody to tell me about teachers because I know what they did for my life. In 6th grade, I did not even know how to read. My teacher told me that I was going to get a book, stay in a corner until I learned to read. I know how to read nowadays. back to Ms. Chatonda.
Yeah.
Ms. Chatonda, what are you doing right now? Tell me.
I'm working with the Upward Bound, and we're college prep, and that's why I was a little late today, because today was report card pickup. And we just have a summer program, and we work with our children. We have about 30 kids, and we're just trying to create a leadership in our youth.
Wonderful. We got some callers too that want to talk to you, but let me ask you a question. These new schools that are popping up, and charter schools, give us a quick opinion, and call it, put the caller through it and let him listen to it, and then we're going to get it right to a caller. Mr. Chatonda, these new schools that are popping up.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
education on the cheap.
Good evening.
Education on the what?
On the
Ray,
cheap.
I call every week.
Okay, I know, but let's listen to her for a minute. I asked her about education. Education, you
Okay.
say on the cheap? What does
Oh,
that
yeah,
mean?
charter schools are, well, a lot of the people, when they started, they were non-certified, inexperienced people. Just anybody could walk in if you had a degree in anything, and sometimes even if you didn't.
In charter schools.
And become a teacher. And then the other thing is that they have a limit on, there's a hidden understanding that there's only a certain amount of black teachers you can hire in a charter, and that's about 30%.
But that's an unwritten rule, right?
Yeah, it's an unwritten. It may be written, but they don't want to fill the schools full of African American educators. They want it to be a 70-30 balance, and a few of them like.
How is 70-30 balance? That's not balance.
It's not when your population is 100%.
What is the population of the kids that they're teaching?
Well, charters don't exist in affluent neighborhoods. Charters they exist in low-income communities.
Hold on a second now. I need to get a little bit more educated on this because
Yeah.
I'm really not. There's no charter schools in Winnetka?
If they are, they're just recent.
Or are
they
charter
don't.
schools different? Let me ask that. Are
Oh,
charter
yeah.
schools different? So a charter school in Winnetka that teaches technology may not be
I
like a
don't
charter
think they're charter. The purpose of charter schools were to give low-income children a choice, parental choice or parents' choice. In Winnetka, most of the public schools actually have the most experienced educators. They really are the best schools. So, of course, in affluent neighborhoods, why would you want to charter a school that's designed for low-income poverty kids?
Wow.
If you look at the map, if you Google mapping charter schools, you will see that they primarily on the south and west side. They may have one or two up north, but you have hundreds of little charter schools because here, a charter school is kind of private, kind of public. They basically can make up their own rules. They don't really have to follow a standard, a state standard. They can kind of make up what they want to do.
Wow. Can they hire ex-felons to work in schools?
I'm not sure about charters. I don't know if they would. But I do know that in the charter school system, you can get your least experienced educators. And
Is that good or bad?
oh, that's very bad.
Wow.
Because it takes, to teach, a lot of people don't realize this, you don't become a teacher until you taught for 5 years.
Wow, interesting. You should have to teach for 5 years to be. Call it. Go ahead.
To even be called
teacher.
a teacher. Because it takes that long. And when you consider that when you take people outside the community and bring them in the community, and they have to learn the culture.
Okay, let's learn the culture of taking this call. Caller, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Good evening.
How are you
My
today?
name is Ray, and I call most every week.
Wonderful.
You
Thank
know,
you.
I
Ray.
had one comment, but I'm going to say this. The stuff that young lady next to you is talking is a bunch of garbage.
Okay.
You know why? And I'm going to tell you why. They don't want competition of other schools teaching because they teach better. That's why these schools, years ago, teachers worried about teaching. Now, all they worry about is are they going to have a job. And with all these charter schools coming up, they're not going to have a job. And I thank God for that. They don't want to teach.
Okay, hold on. Let her respond, and then you jump back in.
Okay, first of all, that's ludicrous. Go to and enter and Google whether charter schools have outpouring public schools, and you will see that they haven't. So the research has been done over years. People started out with this ridiculous nonsense that somebody who basically could not hardly spell their name could come in and teach. You do have to have an education and be grounded in curriculum and that in order to teach.
Carl, are you still there?
Yeah, I sure am.
Go ahead.
You know what? That's a bunch of garbage. Look to Google. You don't have to Google. Talk to the kids that come out of a charter school. They're so much more intelligent than the teachers of the public schools. And that's because all the teachers want to do is worry about if they have a job or not.
Not true.
Anymore. Years ago, that's all a teacher would do, was think about educating the children. Not anymore.
Not true.
So, Carl, I appreciate you calling very much.
Yeah.
Miss Chatonda, what is your concern about education, or do you have any concern?
Well, I
about
do.
education?
My basic concern is we do need to have people that look like us teaching our children. And that's my biggest concern. We have to create a pool of young black educators that can work in our schools.
So then what happens to that guy over there that's sitting in the corner? He says, so if y'all want to do your own, y'all want to teach your own people, then why don't y'all just have your own schools and you can teach who you want to
Well,
teach?
that's an idea. But the point that I'm saying too, if we want to, if you want to have equity, if you want to maintain integrity in our community, nobody else does this. You're not going to go to a white school and find 99% of the teachers black because people know better. And people talk about, oh, well, race doesn't matter. Well, it matters to somebody because they're not going to do it. It might not matter to the black community that we've got 80% of our teachers that are non-black. But there's no other intelligent human species that would not send a red flag and alarm. And we just have to understand that our children, we're sending a message to our children when we're not in the classroom teaching, and that message is that you're not good enough to teach, that someone else has to do it, and people like me can't.
Wow. Ms. Chatonda, let me ask you a question. Students, what do you say to students who may not be or who are doing their best? I think we need to include students in this conversation.
Oh, I think that so many of our students are doing their best, and this is why I love the program that I work in, because we're not looking for the stay 9s or 8s. It would be great if we had them. We're looking for that average kid that just wants a chance. You know, everybody's looking at the top guy, and they're going to be fine. They have parental support. We are mentors. We are looking for those students that need our help.
Wow. Well, Ms. Chatonda, we really appreciate you, and I want you to come back. You have, as long as CanTV have me here, you have this desk as your desk.
Well, thank
so
you.
you can come by on Thursdays at 6 o'clock, and you can speak your piece.
Thank
Listen,
you.
y'all, two things I have a concern about, and I'm going to go. And I really appreciate you, Ms. Chatonda, and I'm seriously, and if I'm not available, you take the training and you sit here and you talk about it, because we can't let our teachers go down like this. We can't let Ron Emanuel and Barack Obama and his minions change the way this system have worked for years. It's successful. It worked. It worked on me. It worked on you. It worked on her too. And we got to do it right. And the way the mayor is and these charter schools and the new education director, it's not the way to go. So, Ms. Chatonda, do you have a Facebook where people can reach you?
Yes, I'm on Facebook, Rosita Chatonda, that's Chatonda. And I also have a group, Cost Teachers, costteachers.com, and I'm the academic advisor for the Black United Fund Upward Bound program.
Great. If a task once begun, never leave it till it's done. Ms. Chatonda, please bid the label big or small. Promise to do it well or not at all. Good night, and thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you.